Sailing, RuneScape's first ever new skill where the action never stops. Explore the high seas, fight epic sea monsters, befriend mermaids, and answer their riddles. And also you get to be a DoorDash driver for about 6 hours before you can actually engage with the skill in a meaningful way. Plunder the loot of ancient pirate ships. Test your navigational skills in the Barracuda trials, which definitely do not give me thoughts of harming myself and others, you jubbly course. The release of Sailing has been mired in controversy. Let's not pretend otherwise.
They done busted my dome!
They woke me up! They got pictures of me naked!
Some of the hate is coming from people who are not particularly arguing in good faith. You guys know who you are. But there are some legitimate criticisms as well that we should explore to figure out, is Sailing actually any good? Oh my god, is that a turtle with a clue on its back? That is so cute. Luckily for us, we discovered immediately that the answer was yes. Well, it's a little bit more complicated. The best way for us to really answer this question is to sail the 7 seas ourselves. I'm actually not sure how many seas there are, but it's probably not in alliteration, so let's go with 7. Let's start from the beginning and experience the skill as Jagex intended, to see both where it falls flat and where it delivers. So, without further ado, let's get sailing. Speaking of delivery, have I mentioned that you guys have a new job? That's right, you're a $10.99 for DoorDash. Gas isn't covered and the miles that you put on this bad boy are not tax deductible, but you will contribute to shareholder value, so get back on your boat, you pet. Get used to driving back and forth to the same port over and over and delivering rotten bananas, and if you're lucky, you might even be able to get 2 deliveries in one go, which makes your 3,000 XP an hour turn into 3,400. Real talk, at the start of the skill here, it's pretty, lackluster. I'm not gonna pull punches on this. I was carried by the excitement of what could and would be with Sailing at the later levels, but man, this part wasn't great. I was gonna have to do this for like 5 hours to get to level 30. And it's a damn shame too, because there's so much potential for the early part of the skill. Gliding through the ocean, sailing past new and interesting landmarks, charting the wreckage of ships, and opening ancient chests lost in the tides. Jagex could have made this really rewarding, like charting the part of the skill that's available from the very start. It's where you go to an undiscovered landmark or object, and you log it in your captain's journal for XP. Imagine if the start of this skill was going all over the new oceans that have been painstakingly crafted by hand, by the way, for us to enjoy, just discovering little Easter eggs and getting XP and leveling up in a way that feels rewarding for interacting with the world. But no, instead you just find an item that venoms you and teleports you into the middle of Karamja for 30 XP. Ooh, a crate. Are you kidding me? I think the idea of all these little troll items and cool encounters is incredible, don't get me wrong. It adds just so much flavor and life to the skill. I just wish it felt worthwhile to do so. The XP from these things could easily be tripled. They're one-time events, it gets you out exploring and seeing all the new content, but instead, you're stuck here, delivering cold French fries soaked in ocean water to a man who definitely does not tip you. I think the idea behind the ultra slow XP was to give time to people to really feel the mechanics of their boat and get comfortable sailing, and I think that's great, that's a really good idea, but honestly, I felt pretty good about the boat after like an hour. Oh my god, to get me off the fucking rock, dude. I felt mostly good about the boat after an hour. And plus the real movement comes at level 30 when you get to the Barracuda trials, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Arg, you know what feels better than delivering rotten bananas back and forth? Well, honestly, probably a lot of things. Chief among them is bettering your skill set and investing in your hobbies, which is exactly what today's sponsor, Boot.dev, can help you do. Boot.dev is the online programming course that's blowing up right now because it turns learning into a fun RPG-like game with quests, XP, rewards, you guys know the drill, number go up, good. BootDev helps you learn back-end development in Python, Go, and SQL by keeping you engaged and actually writing a lot of code because as we know, bored learners quit. It comes with a ton of great tools like Boot's the AI Wizard Bear to help you tackle problems by not just regurgitating answers, but asking follow-up questions to help you fully understand. They also offer a really generous 30-day, no questions asked refund policy because they never want you to feel like you're wasting money, especially as a student. So go to boot.dev and use my code TASTYLIFE to get 25% off your entire first year on the annual plan. Thank you to BootDev for sponsoring today's video. At this point, I had spent a few hours doing port tasks gas and some basic charting in the oceans near me, so I figured, let's switch it up and try out the AFK training method that Jagex gave to all of us that are lazy or have to write a YouTube video and don't want to stop getting XP. Thanks. First off, we needed the level 15 boat to put a salvage hook on, so let's head to the shipyard. All right, we got my new boat here, the Dainty Chaos. Kind of a weird name, but that's okay. We need some bronze bars to build a salvaging hook over there, so let's go to the bank and get some of those. Where is the bank? Where's the bank? Is there no bank here? I looked it up, dude. There's no bank. There's no bank in the shipyard. Jagex, please put a bank in the shipyard. I don't know why you thought it would be a good idea to not have, dude, put a GE there for all that I care. Anyway, we built it and then we attempted to salvage. Now, conceptually, I liked this a lot, but in reality, there were some issues. The first thing that I noticed was that the XP rates were dog shit, and hold on, that's not my complaint. I think that's fine. I'm not like a fella who thinks that we should be able to get 99 in every skill in 40 hours. The beauty of the grind is sometimes just that. I like the speed of rune crafting and agility. I think it's fine. I think it makes it more meaningful. And like conversely, all right, just to put this out there, I'm not either one of those autumn elegy types that thinks you should get 1 XP per day in the skill of your choice, as long as you play for 10 hours. I just want reasonable rates, all right? The issue that I had was not the rates, but in the fact that this was really not AFK at all. Let's go through the process here. You have to get on your boat, man the helm, set your sails, go all the way to the salvage spot, awkwardly stop your boat, shuffle close enough to do it, drop your salvage hook, and then start salvaging. I'm just kidding. You only got 2 salvage and then the spot moved. Okay. Get off the hook, go back to the helm, set your sails, pray you can move past the rocks without having to reverse, go to the other spot, and then try that again. Bam! 45 seconds later, your inventory is full, and you have to go back to the port and actually clean your salvage. AFK is not the term that I would ascribe to this activity. I feel like they should just make the spots stay here permanently and just keep the XP like terrible. I think that's fair. Maybe that's an extreme opinion, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, but I genuinely don't think I'm crazy. After fiddling around with all the different content for nearly 6 hours, I had hit the promised land, level 30, coming with the flagship content of Barracuda Trials. In this activity, an elite gang of sailors challenges you to take on their hardest obstacle course to prove your mettle as a captain of the 9 seas. It's water agility. It's sepulcher on the water, to give you an idea. The best part about this is now we can finally start getting some serious XP. It's go time. Huh. Well, something has certainly gone wrong. I looked it up and we need a better boat. Back to the shipyard. After upgrading the ship, it was actually go time. The learning curve was pretty steep at first. This does not look correct. But learn I did, and very quickly the movement of the boat started to feel a lot more intuitive. I was making time on the trials, and most importantly, I was legitimately having a blast. This is probably the most fun I've had skilling in my entire life, and I'm not a skiller. I like PVM, but something about the Barracuda Trials almost blended both of those worlds together. I was flat out addicted to this thing, and before I knew it, I had already reached level 40 sailing. 1 through 30 took me 6 hours, and going from 30 to 40 took me maybe 1. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Frankly, it wouldn't have even mattered to me if it took longer, because I was having more fun than a jubbly in a swamp, or whatever the saying is. And so I stayed, and as a true RuneScape player does, I grinded all the way to level 50 over the course of a few hours without even realizing how much time had passed. Now at this point, I had consumed a lot of rum and I was dressed like a pirate. I was really getting into it. After a while, I decided it was time to take a break from the Barracuda Trials because at level 50, we got access to the highest level boat in the game, the Boof. The Scoof? Let me look it up. The Sloop. That cannot be a real name. And so back to port we went to make the sloop. Bam! All right, dude, we have a beautiful ship waiting for us. I upgraded pretty much everything, the hulls, the keel, the mast, the sails. I've got dual salvaging hooks right here. I hired Jobless Jim, and I even got a salvage station on the boat, which is gonna make it really nice so we don't have to actually go back to the land to go salvage our stuff. I was back out to salvage, but I had a different goal this time. The Sailor's Amulet. It's a beautiful locket that could teleport us directly to the Pandemonium and a couple other sailing spots. I had grown weary of teleporting running to random places to try and find a charter ship to go there because I actually don't really know where those are in the game. So this seemed like it would be helpful. According to the wiki, this is a 1 out of 750 drop rate at the Barracuda salvage, which is the best rate. So off I went to plunder the riches of the less fortunate as if I were Larry Fink. But instead of BlackRock, it's Blackbeard. Get it? Like pirates? I'm super tired right now. I had salvaged for a good few minutes, once again expecting pain and agony, but something was different this time. I wasn't in pain and agony. I made some upgrades to my ship that really sped things along, and frankly, it made the activity feel a lot more deliberate from a design perspective. Upgrading the boat is a pain, that is for sure. Please put a bank in the shipyard, dude, Jesus Christ. But the rewards were really meaningful. My boy Jobless Jim might be somewhat of a dimwit, but he's essentially doubling my chance at getting this amulet. My cargo hold is bigger, so I don't have to clear it out as often, and the salvage table is a lifesaver. I can just stay parked right here in the ocean and drop everything I don't need. I was beginning to learn. Apparently, you could just park your boat in the middle of 2 spots here, and if I did this correctly, I have access to both spots from both sides, so I guess I don't really have to move as much. Neat. And I began to think at this point, maybe I was a bit harsh on salvaging at the beginning. I started off slow and shitty because I was like level 10. Maybe it was Jagex's master plan to have each upgrade to your boat and crew really feel worth it, like getting to the next level, just make your experience that much better and encourage you to grind your way there. And then I thought, that sounds like a really good way to design skills. In total transparency, I was ready to hate this skill and release a video shitting on it after my first 5 hours. Instead, I found myself being genuinely impressed. So impressed that I didn't even realize I had been salvaging for hours. 5 hours to be exact, and I still did not have the amulet. Okay, I'm not kidding, dude. I've salvaged well over 1,500 of these Barracuda salvage, dude. I am so dry. I've been awake for like 20 hours. I'm just gonna go to bed. And with that, we sailed back to port for an evening's rest.
The next morning.
We're right back to salvaging. We don't need to glamorize this one with any edits. I just want this stupid amulet, dude. Spoiler alert, we actually did not get it for another 2 hours. So I just gave up, as any smart man would do, because we were only 1 level away from the next tier of Barracuda trials. I grabbed level 55, upgraded my boat, and made my way to the course, and it was definitely one of the times of my life. I'm gonna be honest, I have zero clue what I'm doing. The instructions made basically 0 sense. Like, I really did not understand the tutorial at all. We have to throw toads at jubblies, which there's a toad guy over here. That much I've figured out. Okay, here's the toad guy. Give me some toads, thank you. It does appear as though every single player is going the opposite direction, which is a bad sign. After about an hour of fumbling around, I had figured out the basic mechanics and made my way up to the hardest trial, the Marlin. Fuck. Dude, I'm gonna fucking myself, bro. I don't think I could say that. Asterisk, bleep that out. I'm getting like 7 FPS here. These stupid toads don't follow any rules, dude. And this this orange tower frankly does not, oh my god. This orange pillar frankly does not work in the slightest, dude. Luckily for me, I did have someone send me a picture of the optimal route, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on screen right now. Feel free to screenshot it. It's just genuinely a lifesaver. So I sat there and I studied this ancient scroll, and immediately right after, I one-shot the Marlin time. Yeah, you like that shit, buddy? Look at that, 5-10. I'm just kidding. I did it for 7 more hours, but I did get it. Now, again, a moment of honesty, I really did not like this course at first, but once I got used to it and I learned all the little tips and the tricks and what you were supposed to actually do, it once again felt really rewarding to learn. There's a pattern emerging with all this sailing content. Jagex really designed these well. The course itself is tight. To make time, you don't have to have perfect movement, but you can't make any mistakes. If you miss a pool or you hit the sludge that slows you down, you've basically lost the good challenge time. I like a good challenge like that, but the thing that really sold me about the Barracuda trials is the XP. Not the really high rates you get, though that is nice. You cap out at like 80k XP per hour here, which feels really good at this level, but more so the fact that you get XP for completion no matter how long it takes. Hitting the challenge time gives you a fat one-time XP drop, which is great and a good motivator, but after that, you don't feel like you've absolutely wasted your time if you aren't fast enough. The XP per hour lowers a little bit, I think that's pretty fair, but take a look at Sepulcher, the real one, this one. If you don't make time here, you're locked out of the next floor and you have to start all the way over. Sepulcher is good, but it's so punishing. And this, on the other hand, once you make time, there's just this level of like chill that's added to the grind and it doesn't feel so tedious. It's really, really nice. And so there I sat doing this course for like 10 more hours. I was addicted. Hey guys, it's Current Tasty Life here, the narrator of this video. I've been doing some Barracuda trials and salvaging my downtime, and I have managed to make it all the way to 70. Pretty good. And fun fact, I did end up getting the Sailor's Amulet though. I did go 4 times dry, which that did suck. Overall, I'm really impressed with what Jagex has put out so far. I think currently it feels potentially a little bit disconnected from the rest of the game, but to be fair, the other 23 skills did have a decade-long head start. I'm really optimistic about the potential for this skill. Anyway, after about 30 hours of gameplay, I think it's time we answer the question, is sailing actually any good? And I can say, my friends, yes. Yes, it is. I'm sure everyone's thoughts and feelings will develop as we spend more time with the skill, so stay tuned for my video in 3 months where I say why sailing is bad. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the skill in the comments, and with that, stay tasty.